Do you know that feeling when you've been imagining yourself living in the jungle, surrounded by nature in its purest form, and then it becomes your reality, and you are living that dream? It's right before your very eyes. All I wanted to do was to memorize and absorb that experience so I could always remember how I felt in that moment and go back to those memories in case I wanted to do so. Traveling for me is not only about changing your physical location. It is being able to live as many different lives within one life. It is perhaps the best thing you can buy in this universe. The possibility to discover a new facet of yourself by experiencing a culture so different from where you've come from. And if you're open enough to broaden your horizons, if you dare to unlock new things in you, then there is nothing to lose for you, but everything to gain. On this trip, I was learning to not judge anything as good or bad, but to simply observe and listen to how my body feels. I tried to unlearn what I've been told throughout my whole life, and I wanted to try to experience this life anew. While I'm showing you around this piece of paradise on earth I called home for more than a week, let's talk about the art of solo travel. Throughout my journey traveling across Costa Rica, I received numerous questions like, "So tell me, why are you alone?" Or, "Why would someone ever want to travel alone?" And the answer is pretty simple to me. All the time that you have in the country belongs to you, and you can do whatever you want, plan your day as you please, make new friends if you wish to, or have those introvert kind of days if you don't. You get a chance to discover a new country on a much deeper level, because you will have to talk to strangers eventually. You can't be always alone, right? You have to socialize at times. And it's so much fun. You get to know yourself better this way. It gives you confidence you can do hard things. You realize that you're capable of so much more. And you get a chance to be selfish. I mean, who wouldn't want that? This is such a gift to not have to take anyone into consideration. You get an opportunity to learn how to take yourself into consideration and how to think of yourself. You can pay more attention than you would normally do to your needs and wants, do those self-care rituals. The list is endless. It all depends on how you look at it. But the most important thing it all comes down to for me is this. If I want to go somewhere and do something, and I have no one to join me, I won't postpone anything for later anymore. I realize how precious our time is, and if I won't do it now while I can, then who knows if I can do it later, you know? I'm sure you get my point. Okay, let's get back to what you're seeing on the screen, which is this cute little glamping tent. The amount of wildlife I was able to witness from there is unbelievable. I really enjoyed my stay there, I felt fully immersed in nature, and all I cared about was eating locally grown fruits and veggies, exercising, going to the beach, and watching unforgettable sunsets. This morning, I woke up to the sound of rain. I rented an ATV and had an adventure planned. But at this point, I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to go anywhere at all. With the weather situation in Santa Teresa, you can never be sure of anything, so I waited. And in the meantime, I decided to journal and reflect on what I've experienced so far. Then, an hour later, it became really beautiful out there, and off I went. I have to say, guys, this was my first time driving an ATV, so the first 30 minutes were extremely stressful. Everyone was telling me not to go by myself, but I just listened to my gut feeling, and apart from that, I really wanted to explore Cabuya and Montezuma, so I decided to go. The ride wasn't an easy one, especially because of those flooded areas I had to cross. At some point, I wanted to give up and go back, but then somehow I gathered all my willpower and did it anyway. I was driving, guys, and then I saw this. If I'm not mistaken, it's called El Higueron. So, yeah, it's a huge, huge tree. So beautiful. Here I finally reached the Cabuya Cemetery. Don't even ask me why on earth I chose to go there. I mean, I will tell you myself, okay? Cabuya Cemetery is located on an island. The only way to reach this cemetery is to walk across the rocks of the seafloor at low tide. There is no way to return to the mainland once the pathway is covered by the sea until the next low tide. So please check the tides chart if you decide to go there. As you can see here, I was late for the crossing, so I decided to ask local people in the area how I could get there. One of them had a friend who owns one of those boats you see, and he gave him a call for me. The guy agreed to come and take me there, and while I waited for his arrival, I saw red macaws. They're also called aras. I was in awe, guys, I'm telling you. Then the captain has arrived with his family, and here we were on a boat, excited to go to the cemetery. And you know, it would be funny if it wasn't so sad. The engine failed, and the captain really did his best to resurrect it for several times, but with no success. And in the moments like this, I choose to trust the universe that I just shouldn't go there. At least not this time. But I have to say, the whole boat experience and interacting with locals made my day. My next stop was Montezuma Waterfall. You know, the way to get there to the waterfalls, it's quite, guys, you can see it for yourself. I have to climb the rocks and follow the river. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit tough, you know. Let's see. I'm so glad that I managed to reach Montezuma Waterfall, and the hike was, pretty intense. I'm gonna show it to you later how it looks. But basically, it's there are no trails, and you have to find your way through it, to get here to the first one. And I'm not gonna go to the second one because it's just 20 minutes more of such a climb that I don't wanna make it. I think one Montezuma waterfall is quite enough, so yeah. Just to give you an example, like right now I'll have to climb this rock because there is no way to get around. To be honest with you, after the hike to the waterfall and back, I felt exhausted. It was about 4 p.m. at that time, and I needed to refuel, so I stopped by the local soda where I had a typical meal called casado, in a vegetarian way, of course. The sun was about to set in an hour or so, and I knew I had to head back. Plus, I wanted to watch a sunset on Playa Hermosa, which was not far from where I stayed, and so I headed back. On the way there, I stopped countless times because I just couldn't pass by all those gorgeous beaches. Each one of them was beautiful in its own way. And here we are at Playa Hermosa. I will just leave you to enjoy this one, guys. On the way home, I saw families of crabs crossing the road, and unfortunately many of them didn't make it because of the ATVs passing. I tried to stop every time I saw one to let them cross peacefully. Good morning, guys. This is the following morning, and I woke up well rested, happy and satisfied that I accomplished the mission of exploring the part of Nicoya Peninsula. You know that feeling when you've managed to do something that scared you? You get that boost of confidence that just emanates through your body. Since I still had an ATV at my disposal, I decided to go to Playa Hermosa once again. By this time, I was so confident at driving that I started to enjoy it. The word Hermosa means beautiful in Spanish, and this name really speaks for itself. This beach is spectacular and really peaceful. I spent few hours there, and I told you one of my favorite activities is people watching. It calms me down somehow, and it is just so interesting. And then I had my second breakfast for some reason, which was an acai bowl. In the afternoon, I had a bioluminescence trip booked. We went to Montezuma Beach, from where we took a boat to Playa Muertos. If you've never heard of bioluminescence, it's the production and emission of light by a living organism, like this one, for example. They appear like flashes of bluish-green light when there is any disturbance in the water they live in. Nicoya Peninsula is one of the places on Earth where you can witness this phenomenon. On our way there, we saw a tiny plane landing and it was beautiful. By the way, this is one of the ways how you can get to Santa Teresa from San Jose. Here we are approaching Playa Muertos, and this beach is one of the most beautiful beaches I've seen in Costa Rica. We waited there until the sun set, and then we went straight in the middle of the ocean to witness bioluminescence. It was very hard to film because of the complete absence of light, and you also need a very long exposure in order to do that. I didn't bring my camera as I didn't want to risk it because the waters were very rough. But I still got some shots on my phone and it looked like this. Alright guys, it's time to end this video. If you have any questions or simply want to share your thoughts on any topics I discussed in the video, leave a comment below. Thank you for watching and I will see you soon.